What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy, and today we're going to talk about Gary Sanchez's thoughts on his spring training, on his 2021 upcoming season. He did have an interview on Saturday where he kind of broke down what his expectations are going into this year, so I do want to talk about that. However, before we do get started, everyone, please make sure, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you turn on those post notifications so you do know, A, when we go live every night at 9, and B, every day when we post at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So, listen, Gary Sanchez's 2021 season is going to be one that has spotlights on it like no one's ever seen before. He's coming off easily what could be considered the worst season of his career. I'm going to pull up his stats right now just because we could kind of touch on them and refresh on how bad his 2020 season was just before we head into his 2021 campaign. Listen, 2020, he had a 147, 253, 365 slash line. He did have 10 home runs and 24 RBIs, but he struck out 64 times in 49 games. It was just a very rough season for Gary Sanchez. He lost his starting job for the most part in the playoffs. We saw Kyle Gashioka kind of emerge as Garrett Cole's personal catcher due to Gary Sanchez being so weak behind the plate and just not working well with Cole. So, listen, we know that Gary Sanchez hasn't been that guy, that really bad hitter for his entire career with the Yankees. He's had his ups and his downs as a Yankee, of course, just like anyone would. But we've never seen him hit low as 147. And we've seen glimpses of greatness as well. I mean, you don't even have to go back that far. Look at his 2019 season, for example. He only played 106 games, but he did slash 232, 316, 525 with 34 home runs, 77 RBIs. It's not a spectacular season by any means, but I would say that that's like above average for a catcher, and you'll take that from Gary. If Yankee fans could get that from Gary Sanchez in 2021, they would be beyond happy. But I do want to get into Gary Sanchez's interview from Saturday, right? Because I think a lot of the quotes that we could take from it are promising. Gary definitely seems like he's going into the season with a chip on his shoulder, and maybe that's what he needs. Because I know a lot of people knock like his mental aspect of the game, and maybe he doesn't care as much as other players. But let's kind of break down some of these quotes. So Sanchez kind of said, "It's a little early right now to give you a true answer as far as his mechanical tweaks to his swing, but I definitely feel good with the adjustments I've made. I think they're going to be key. They're going to make a difference. I feel great, and I definitely think this year is going to be different." I mean, I would hope that he would kind of say that he made some tweaks and it's kind of too early to tell if they're going to work, but he thinks this year's going to be different. You don't want to hear Gary going into a press conference and be like, "Yeah, to be honest, like I think I'm just going to perform the same as I did last year." Like, no, obviously we're not going to hear him say that. But Aaron Boone was also kind of asked about Gary Sanchez and how he looks so far this spring. Boone said, "I think he looks really good. I feel like he's got a really good routine going right now that he's frankly helping to drive. He's made some adjustments offensively, shortened up his swing. So I would say here in the early days, he's doing quite well." This is another thing. I mean, just like what Gary said, while Gary said like he feels like this year's going to be different. Obviously, his manager's going to say the same thing. He's going to defend his catcher, who I'm assuming is going to be the Yankees starting catcher for the majority of the 2021 season, as long as nothing goes completely wrong for Gary. But I mean, it just seems like Gary's just trying to shrug off all the negative comments that might come his way from former players like Pudge Rodriguez or the media. The media has been the one source that's just been knocking Gary Sanchez for an entire year now. So I think it is a good thing that while maybe deep down inside it might get to him and it might have got to him last season, at least he's not showing it publicly. He's not showing any sort of frustration. He's just trying to put last year behind him and kind of just move forward. Sanchez also said, "I can't name myself the starting catcher, but what I can tell you is that I want to be playing every day. I don't see myself playing 2 times a week. I would like to have the opportunity to play every day." I think what we could draw from this and draw from his press conference today is one thing. Hopefully, 2020 was a wake-up call for Gary Sanchez, right? Because in years past, Gary knew no matter how he performed, he was still going to be the starting catcher for the Yankees. However, in 2020, he realized that, damn, like I could actually perform at such a low level where I could get benched. Like, I don't think that's a thought that ever went through his head before. And that's evident when earlier on in the offseason, I think when he started the Dominican Winter League, he said that he was kind of confused why he was benched. So I'm hoping that he could take away from that 2020 season a realization that now he knows that if he doesn't perform well, that starting job is on the line. So that's why Gary Sanchez knows now, I want to be the starter. And in order to be the starter, I have to perform well. Personally, I have high expectations for Gary going into the 2021 season. I don't think he's going to be as bad as we saw in 2020, but he's also not going to be that superstar we saw in 2016. I think if I had to make a prediction, I think he'll probably hit like 220, 30 home runs, and I would take that. That would be a tremendous season in my eyes for Gary Sanchez coming off of such a brutal year. So listen, everyone just keep faith in Gary. I know a lot of people knock him. I think we should just go into the season with open arms for him, I guess. And if he has a really bad year again, maybe then the Yankees consider moving on from him. But right now, I think we should just go into the season, see what he could do, and then just go from there. And judge the Yankees starting catcher position after this season, after seeing how Gary Sanchez performs with a full season under his belt. So that is going to wrap things up for us today. Just want to touch on the Gary Sanchez press conference a little quickly, just because I thought the quotes were pretty interesting. I hope you guys found them pretty interesting too. But yeah, we do go live every night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'm sure you guys know that by now. Daily uploads every day at 12 p.m. Eastern as well. Once again, like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I genuinely appreciate you all, and I will see you next time. Peace.